Our top story today, many people say they woke up to a loud, inexplicable noise.
On Monday morning, eyewitnesses in Arkansas, Louisiana, and Mississippi reported seeing a bright fireball and hearing loud booms in their area.
It's the fireball seen around central Mississippi.
NASA says it's very rare for a meteor of this size to come over southwest Mississippi. More people heard the loud boom. Wow, NASA says the loud boom came from the shock waves produced by the 1-foot rock breaking apart, which equaled 3 tons of dynamite. It was 90 pounds and it moved southwest at a speed of 5,500 miles per hour, faster than any spacecraft.
At its peak, the fireball was over 10 times brighter than a full moon.
People from half a dozen counties in south central Indiana heard the boom. It was captured around 12:45 on a camera at a fire department in Nineveh. An auto body shop in Bloomington caught it on its cameras as well.
Normally, with Atterbury, we hear a lot of noise. Yeah. But we don't necessarily hear anything that loud.
Authorities in southern Indiana are searching for the cause of a mysterious explosion-like noise that rattled homes.
It happened a few minutes before 1 o'clock.
Like a gunshot.
The cause of the noise remains a mystery.
You can hear it right there. Brown County's emergency management director confirms to Wish TV, and there again, there was an explosion-like noise that shook homes all throughout the county. The U.S. Geological Survey reports no earthquake activity in Indiana for the past 24 hours happened either.
Seismologists at Indiana University picked up what they're calling a significant pulse of seismic energy around 12:44 yesterday afternoon. The American Meteor Society also took 2 reports of meteor sightings, one in Columbus, the other in Bloomington. Based on the reports, they were able to triangulate the impacted location and said it was likely a fireball meteor. Johnson said it's a good reminder that a lot happens out in space.
New overnight, people all over Houston are wondering, what was that boom?
Yeah, a loud noise rattled nerves in several neighborhoods. Some people even said it shook their homes. People were even posting about this in Alvin and Tomball. And this home surveillance footage from southwest Houston captured the blast.
From the Beltway in Bissonnette to West University, doorbell cameras caught the loud boom that now has the whole town talking. People from down in Alvin all the way up to Tomball say they heard it. Someone in Montrose says it was so loud it knocked their cat off the bed and shook their windows.
This is off-duty unit 3636.
HPD radio traffic said it sounded like an explosion.
And someone also called me and said their house shook.
Others online guessed a sonic boom, aliens, or a bomb.
Other than the aliens, it could almost be any of those things.
Dan Riley with the National Weather Service says his best guess?
It could have been a very fast-moving object like a meteor or an aircraft or something moving faster than the speed of sound. And that would give that kind of sonic boom kind of thing.
But without anyone actually spotting a meteor trail in the sky, that theory can't be confirmed. So for now, the loud sound heard across Houston remains a mystery.
New at 7, the entire planet is on a solar storm watch. The sun has been flaring up more and more as it approaches its solar maxima, the period of greatest activity in the sun's 11-year solar cycle. The latest magnetic activity is set to slam the Earth tomorrow, but there's no cause for concern. Solar storms are quite common, and some parts of the planet may experience power outages and radio signal disruption as
In 1989, a strong solar eruption caused the Canadian province of Quebec to lose power for a total of 9 hours. This time, the solar flare has caused a minor radio blackout. But there's no guarantee if the next solar flare will have the same impact. Scientists say a giant solar flare is inevitable, and mankind is completely unprepared.
A storm is headed our way, and we're not talking about exactly what you may be thinking.
Yeah, there's potential severe weather is on the way, but also a geomagnetic storm that's expected to impact us tomorrow. Storm team meteorologist Rachel Dunsing has more.
A few days ago, space weather forecasters saw this eruption from the surface of the sun. It doesn't look all that impressive, but then something else happened.
So we had one eruption early on the 28th of March, and that was headed towards Earth, and now we've had a second eruption behind that one. And so these two are combined now and both heading towards Earth.
Hey, yeah, guys, most people won't notice any impacts, but if you heavily rely on your GPS or any radio communications, then you could notice some disruptions. Now, many people I know are wondering, what is a geomagnetic storm? Well, scientists say that these storms happen when the magnetic field of a solar flare interacts with the Earth's magnetic field. Now, weather forecasters say in the last week they saw 2 separate eruptions from the surface of the sun.
It sounds complex and maybe a little concerning, but the storm isn't strong enough to cause infrastructure issues. However, if you rely on GPS or use radio communication, expect some disruptions.
We let airlines know, people who use high-frequency radios for communications, we let them know. So there's a variety of customers that we interact with to help them prepare for these occasions.
While a geomagnetic storm won't have an impact on your cell phone, as we rely on more technology, space weather affects us, even if we don't notice.
You know, space weather is becoming more impactful to society. And so NOAA and the Space Weather Prediction Center, you know, that's our role, is to be America's source for those watches, warnings, and alerts.
This is fascinating. Something you would never really think of. Brea, we appreciate you giving us this science lesson this morning. Thank you.
But she isn't the only one who's heard them.
It doesn't sound like fireworks. It's not a similar sound of fireworks. It's almost like a deep rumble, a deep boom.
There have been really loud explosions.
Alta lives with her boyfriend in the Marin County area of San Geronimo Valley. The sheriff's office confirms the explosions and says there have been at least 6 of them in the last month.
I heard one and it rattled the walls of our house. I felt it in my body and my chest. It was so low, it sounded like it was coming from underground.
While the explosions have been heard in San Geronimo Valley, deputies say at least one of the originating spots was not near homes.
It's a really disturbing sound, and it's scary to hear that, you know, when it's like 8 p.m. on any given night. It's really freaking a lot of the neighbors out.
We're in the house, me and my kids, and it felt at first like lightning when it strikes next to your house. But we went outside. Of course, it wasn't raining or anything. We didn't see anything. And then a few minutes later, another big boom that you could hear and also feel.
With no answers as to what is really happening, the community is fearful. Concerns are that something serious is happening.
Of course it's scary. I have a 6 and 9-year-old, and they're like, "Mom, we're being invaded." I'm like, I don't think we're being invaded, but...
I was tripping out, man. I was like, dude, what is that? Like, you know, I've seen like lights here and there, and I see a lot of fighter jets that take off, and they usually have like a blinking red, light, and these were just solid. And I was like, it's not a helicopter. They're too high up to be a drone, that I could tell, because it was weird. And then they started moving, and I was like, man, it looked like a fleet of UFOs, like what you see on, TV. And so I pulled my phone out, started recording them, and I drove all the way down Peach, almost to like church where I live, and I was recording them the whole time.
We reached out to the Air National Guard for answers, but they say they didn't fly that night. In fact, it's unusual for them to fly during the evening hours, and they would usually send out an alert.
And one by one, they would kind of slowly disappear, and then at the end, there was only one left.
Sarah Mazian says there was also something off about the way the lights were moving.
One would pass the other, and then the one that would pass the other one would stay lit, and then the one before it would disappear. So it was kind of like they were moving, and then one would pass, and this would disappear, and then the other one would kind of pass.
He says this isn't the first time he saw something out of the ordinary, but it definitely stands out from the rest.
But this was definitely by far the weirdest one because there was a bunch of them.
In Temple last night, people on Facebook were claiming to see some strange lights moving across the sky.
An unusual, questionable, strange light dancing across the sky.
Here it kind of splits apart and comes back. And you can see the fires moving right there.
She says it was an eye's view for about 5 minutes, but the way it danced across the sky has her really confused on what it is.
And then it moved to the right and then just stopped paths and kind of burst like into 3 and just disappeared.
But whatever it was, it's created a big mystery in Temple.
I mean, it was more cool than anything, but I mean, cool in a creepy way.
Surreal.
Yeah, I thought I was kind of going crazy.
All right, Bailey, it's a mystery. I'm dying to know. But what a time for the aliens to visit us. I hope they're taking proper COVID precautions.
They're probably like, peace out.
No kidding.
No thanks, sir.
See what's going on down there? We're turning around.
Yeah.
This is video that a viewer sent us. What you're seeing there isn't a UFO, but likely a Starlink satellite. They belong to SpaceX and are launched to bring internet access to the entire planet.
If you looked up at the sky tonight, you might have seen this, some mysterious lights there flashing across the screen. People actually all across Nashville called our station reporting seeing these lights.
Essentially, it's a group or an array of satellites zooming along in a straight line in outer space at 17,000 miles an hour. And the sole purpose of them is to provide internet at a low cost to remote areas of the world. Now, they're owned by SpaceX, and last night the SpaceX Falcon rocket launched 48 of these into outer space. So it's possible the group you're seeing right there on the video is that same 48 that went to orbit last night. There's nearly 2,000 of these in outer space owned by SpaceX, and SpaceX has approval to launch 30,000 more. So outer space is going to turn into Interstate 65 here in a hurry.